I came across this shocking study the other day, and I know it surprised me, so I thought it might surprise you. It's a study that says if you're addicted to your smartphone, it might be affecting your brain the same way as a drug addiction. To learn more about this, we have Lee Richardson, a licensed professional counselor who runs the Brain Performance Center in Dallas, Texas. Good morning, Lee. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Can you start out by just breaking down this study for us and sharing its findings?
Absolutely. So what they did was they used MRI scans. And, of course, you know, the greater the technology, the better we can look at things.
Oh, yeah.
That's the gray matter in the brain. And it showed actual physical changes in the shape and the size of the brain. I mean, they were even able to pinpoint the areas, the insula. That's where a lot of emotional control and our temporal, memory, how we identify objects. So it's certainly not any different than other studies. There was a study that was done by the U.S. National Library of Medicine, and they showed the same thing. They said it's the same. The brain looks the same with drug abuse as it does. They even specifically cited cocaine. You overuse your cell phone and you overuse cocaine, and it has the same impact to your brain.
Huh.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah. So am I understanding this rightly? So you mentioned this gray matter. So essentially, and smartphone users and then drug users, there's a reduction in this gray matter. Am I getting this right?
Well, they're saying that it does change the structure of the brain.
The structure of it, okay.
Really, what it goes back to are the old studies that have shown us all what happens in the brain when we start doing something, and if we like it, our brain starts kicking out dopamine, and dopamine is a really feel-good neurotransmitter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that. I want that. And those little nerve cells, they get confused. It goes from I like it to I want it to I need it. I need that. And that's what causes, that's what creates the addiction in the brain. Because those nerve cells, they get very, very confused, but they want more of that dopamine.
Of course.
It doesn't matter whether that dopamine, whether it's coming from your phone or from cocaine or alcohol. The world of addiction, I think, has changed unbelievably. Now we've got technology addiction.
Well, let me ask you this, Lee, because let me ask you this real quick. I'm just curious, and we don't have a ton of time here. We're all smartphone users. Most of us have some kind of mobile device, but I think in particular kids spend a lot of time on theirs as well. What does this kind of study mean when it comes to, I'm going to say, young brains? They've got to still be forming when they're young, and these kids are still hanging out on their cell phones so much. Is there any stronger impact there on a brain that's still forming?
Well, your brain's not fully developed until you're in your mid to late 20s. So as you change the structure, you're going to change the way that brain develops. And to me, that is the biggest takeaway from these studies. We have got to be preventative, and we've got to control. And you get it, I get it. I get notifications every week how much I use my cell phone.
Yeah.
And some people don't want that. I don't want that confrontation. I don't want to know that.
I turned mine off.
There you go.
Well, I think that's probably the moral of the story, though, is we need to turn off our smartphones every once in a while to take a break. But, Lee, unfortunately, we're out of time. I feel like we could chat about this study for hours, but I so appreciate you coming on and bringing your insight this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's Lee Richardson. She's a licensed professional counselor who runs the Brain Performance Center in Dallas, Texas. What more news times?